Hey, this is Chain from Chainwolf. You're listening to Heavy Mental Breakdown.
So my first question that I got for you, Chain, have you watched Stands yet on Paramount?
I have not. I've been sleeping on stands. I've been
I
listening. I've
I
been
have
listening to
not
that
listened to it
soundtrack.
yet. Oh, okay. I haven't listened to the soundtrack. I haven't watched it either. I'm super sleeping on it as well. But I think one of the best stories of you and me and our amazing relationship we have is we're both diehard Slim Shady fans.
Big time. A
Yeah,
surprise
man.
to everybody who finds out.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's so funny. I was just in Salem, Massachusetts this last weekend, and I was wearing a 2000s vintage Eminem T-shirt. Every
Hmm.
turn, somebody was complimenting me. I'm just like, what is up with with Salem, Massachusetts, just being huge on Eminem? I
They're
don't know.
just out here holding it down.
Yeah, exactly. We have a shared love for that. Um, Cool, man. Well, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. We were
Yeah.
we were working on a project in Vegas a couple months back, so it's nice to catch up with you.
Yeah. Nice to see each other not in the desert.
Not in the desert with our clothes off. And wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. That was something else. That was me and
Different,
Tony. That was me and
different
Tony,
podcast.
not me and you.
Different podcast.
Different podcast. How have these last couple months been going for you and the band, man? I know you guys have recently put out your brand new album. How's everything going?
Well, the reception to the album's been pretty banging. Getting a lot of compliments from the local scene.
Hell yeah.
The band's been doing pretty good. We've been ever since we came back home from the desert. I've been running as a five piece with the guys, and our shows have just become electrifying. There hasn't been a show where people don't ask us afterwards, like, "How come we're not headlining? How come you guys aren't touring? What's up with the new record?" All of that kind of stuff. Like, so we're on a pretty good uptick right now.
Those are the best questions to get after a gig.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you guys recently played in LA not too long ago, right? Just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right. We just did a wrestling wrestling charity for the Children's Cancer Ward. So we
Oh,
were able
that's
to,
cool.
yeah, we were able to perform. All of our merch sales we donated to the cause. So we ended up playing that one on the house and just
Amazing.
had a great time with it. Yeah,
And you guys just put out a music video.
that's right. We put out two music videos.
You put out two music videos. I think
Yeah.
I either missed the first one or the second one. I saw one of them. And that was also shot in LA as well. Who filmed that?
So we have a really good film crew out here. We've got two of my very close friends in the industry. Ryan Burke, our director, he's the one kind of calling the shots and picking out the good eye. And then we have my good friend Nick Westfall behind the camera. And between the two of them and myself and the band, we're able to do a lot with a little bit.
Amazing. And I saw that the video that I watched looks super like grungy and thrashy and just like a horror movie look. Like it just had a really cool vibe to it, and I like that. You don't have to go super high budgeted, $1,000 music video. Just like get your boys in a garage and let's shoot something cool and let's shoot something
Yeah,
fun. And it looked like the video was a blast and it
definitely.
fit your vibe 100%. So I think it was perfect with what you guys did. It was really cool.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, hell yeah. Are you guys planning on doing more videos for this album, or is it just going to be the two?
So for this album, we have three singles that we pre-released, and we have to do our final one, which is going to be our self-titled track and the song that we're doing tonight, or talking about tonight, "Turn
Oh,
Resentment."
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm stoked for that. So speaking on that, Turn Resentment is the track that we are going to be breaking down tonight, and it's going to be the third single off your new album. Tell us a little bit about the track. Like, is there a story behind it? I know we're definitely going to dive deep into it, but can you kind of just give us like a surface level kind of breakdown of what this track means to you?
So, surface level, the song "Turn Resentment" is part two of of a song that's also on this one. So the name of this album is Lamentations Turned Resentment. So what we did is make one song called Lamentations, and then we did the other song Turned Resentment. So Lamentation closes side A of the record, and then Turned Resentment is the opening for side B, which is a lot more. This entire record is personal to me, but this one is definitely like the beginning of the heaviness and the nastiness.
Mm. When you say heaviness and nastiness, what do you mean by that?
So a lot of the first side of it, so a lot of the first side of the album is sorrow, stuff that makes me cry, and so Turned Resentment is a reflection on how like my personal grieving process is like I have a difficult time staying sad. So what I do is I'll cry, I'll be sad, and then as you know, as it turns out, my sorrow turns into anger, turns into rage, turns into whatever, because I think that's what I'm just more accustomed to. What I'm more accustomed to being towards.
Mm.
And so Turned Resentment is welcome to side B, welcome to the B side of the album, and welcome to the rage section of this portion of the album.
Did you already know previously that you kind of wanted to go this route for the next album when you were working on the one before this?
No. So the first album was a lot more of me versus the world, me versus outside forces, me versus enemies, etc. Album two definitely became more of a introspective me versus my grief, me versus my rage, and me versus I have these feelings that I don't know how to process other than cry, rage, and thrash. And that's basically how this album came to be.
Mm. So one thing that kind of comes to mind too is you're talking about how you have this kind of built-in rage and anger and stuff. One thing that you and I have also connected on is our love for boxing and Muay Thai and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Given your history of that, do you also tend to let out some of your anger and aggression when it comes to boxing? Is that kind of one of the reasons why you picked up that sport?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like the physical aspects of the sport, and that's that's pretty much the easy part. Getting up early to go run, eating right, going to go train. That's easy. It's the difficult part is being consistent, is
Yeah.
going when you're sore, going when you don't want to go, getting up when you don't want to get up. And those feelings, it's one of those things where I would rather be upset and at the gym and be hitting a heavy bag or playing a guitar or screaming into the microphone than staying in bed and
Yeah.
letting my head and my feelings get the better of me.
I actually saw that, because you and I worked for like 30 straight days out in Vegas, and
Yeah.
I actually witnessed that consistency of you, and I respected it a lot. How we were out in the sun, 80 something, 90 something degree weather sometimes, lifting tables and shit, and then I would just be done and exhausted after that. I'm like, I'm going to the room, and then you're like, I'm going to the gym. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Man, this guy's got something to be able to put in that kind of work and then go out and work again, do some boxing. And you did that multiple days out of that 30 days. Like, you are very consistent and
Yeah.
kicking ass all the time, dude. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
dope.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And
Yes.
so I'm sure,
It's hard.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, having that work ethic to, put in 30 straight days and then also end a lot of those days on, going boxing, it kind of just shows, shows your work ethic and the type of person you are, and then you're also going in and writing lyrics and writing guitar riffs and screaming your lungs out in front of crazy people in LA. Like,
Yeah,
the work ethic doesn't stop, man. You're definitely consistent there, so that's cool.
yeah, thank
And
you.
it's cool that you have positive outlets to let these things out, because yeah, you might not always feel the best all the time with all that built up rage and stuff, but you're using it in positive ways of putting on a pair of gloves and hitting a bag, or grabbing your guitar and just turning that amp up as loud as you can, and screaming to a microphone, and you've been able to turn a lot of these feelings into something very positive. And so, and like you said, it's not easy, that kind of work ethic and that mindset. It's not easy. What makes it kind of come natural to you?
I'm just, simply put, I'm not built to just stay home and cry. And I don't know. I was just never afforded that. You've seen people reach out to me, and you've heard people say, "Yo, hey Chain, why don't you just take it easy tonight? Yo, why don't you just catch up on sleep and
Yeah.
recover and bounce back for tomorrow?" And I honestly try, but I don't have it in me to just sit around and wait, sit around and do nothing. And that's not a knock against anybody who does or can. It just doesn't work for me.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't think I'm qualified to answer that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Think about it. You definitely get it from somewhere, man. It comes from somewhere. Because, like you said, a lot of this is not easy. I mean, it took me 2 weeks after getting back from Vegas to finally take a boxing class, and I'm like, oh my god, my body's still exhausted from Vegas. I just, cool, man. Well, I love that this album is so personal to you, because, in my opinion, that's what music should be. We should be making music and art that is close to us, and something that means something to us. And I remember one of the times we were driving in a truck too in Vegas, and you were listening to the album, and I was like, hey, you have to show me your band sometime. I want to hear you guys. You're like, oh, let's do it right now. So, like, I love that you're like always listening to your music, and you like listening to it, and it's something you would listen to even when you're not like playing, and it shows you're passionate about it. And I'm excited to dive into these lyrics, because if you're that passionate about it, I'm excited to hear more insight on these lyrics.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, this is Turned Resentment by Chainwolf. Let's break it down. Dude, your scream. How do you still talking after you scream like that for so long? Do you have any like pre like recording pre-show rituals for your voice and for your throat before you get into this, or is it just you?
Oh, I famously take a shot of honey
Okay.
before I do any kind of vocals. I'm warming up. I do like vocal fry warm-ups. I do traditional vocal warm-ups for like combined on and off for like 20 minutes or so before I do anything live, especially longer if it's going to be a studio day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see you needing to do that. How does your voice feel afterwards?
My voice is usually fine afterwards. Like you can, like it gets a little hoarse after about an hour or so, but I'm more famously just completely red in the face, like I have a fever or something.
Okay. You're letting it all out.
100% letting it all out.
All right, let's dive into these lyrics here. I have them pulled up just in case you might need them. But I lay in a tomb of your choices until nothing remains. Everything I've built has been taken away. Herculean task. As I rise from the grave, No more fear nor pain. Hopelessness, all that remains. Those are
Yeah.
that's a really heavy opening verse for this song.
That, you know what? If you if I didn't know that I wrote that, I would say that's some really heavy poetry, quite
It is.
frankly.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, so funny. You and I, when we first met a couple months back, you sent me the lyrics. You sent me all the lyrics of the
Yeah,
upcoming
from
album,
front to
and you're
back.
front to back, and I was going through them, and this one just stood out to me with the lyrics. It seemed a lot. I mean, the whole album's very very heavy, but these lyrics are the ones that stood out to me. I lay in a tomb of your choices until nothing remains. Everything I built has been taken away. Just these first kind of four lines here. Where where's your motivation for writing these lyrics, and where was your mindset when you were writing them?
Oh, that's super easy. It's because I wanted to jump off a fucking bridge. I
Yeah.
was writing those a lot of these songs. This album specifically is very much a being broken up with album.
Mm.
Um, at the time, I had just been recently left by my ex-fiance, and I was. This album is a two-man, project. Myself on lyrics and vocals, and one of my very, very close friends on guitar. So he had to deal with a bunch of my phone calls, me crying, me texting him, him checking up on me, and just because I was happily engaged, I was in love, and all of that was taken away because I was out of town too much for work, right?
Mm.
And I had all of this negative emotion to repress, to bury, because, like we were saying about my work ethic, I couldn't let being broken up with stop me from getting my job done. So I got my job done, and I just had all of this poison. I had all of this poisonous amount of feelings of sadness, of I don't want to get up, lethargy. I want to jump off a bridge. I want to take my motorcycle and drive into the nearest wall at 100 miles an hour. I I couldn't deal with all of that, and I just started writing and writing and writing and writing and writing until I got to these points where, I wrote what would end up becoming the first song on the album, the two title tracks, Lamentations and Turned Resentment. Uh, so like what inspired like a bulk of the album. So, the objective of writing this album was when people put on their headphones and listen to these songs, I want them to feel what I feel, to feel what I felt at that moment in time, which is I'm either going to slit my wrists and fucking take the easy way and go home, or I'm going to cry and I'm going to mosh and I'm going to hit something until I don't feel whatever it is that I don't feel anymore. And, after enough time of moshing and writing and going to the gym and going to work and acting like everything's fine when it's not, and putting on a face when you don't want to have the face on,
Mhm.
you get to a point where you realize, or I got to a point where I realized, like, I'm living this shell of a life of what I used to have, and it's not because I did anything wrong. It's because the person that I was with decided that they didn't want to be with me anymore. So that perspective is what inspired the lyrics of, uh, I'm in a tomb of your choices until nothing remains, because
Mm.
I tried to fix the relationship when I got back. It didn't work, you know. So it's just like this revolving wheel of just getting pounded by life's ugliness. And it gets to a point where it's like, I'm done. I'm done being scared. I'm done being sad. Like, if this is it, take me. I have to climb out of it. I have to get back to the way that I was. I need to get back to, being happy, working out because I want to, not because I need to exercise feelings out of myself, but because I want to be fit. And that's where that whole first verse comes in of, like, I have this Herculean task of getting up from my grave, because getting out of bed is the hardest thing to do sometimes when you don't want to. You know, getting up, making yourself breakfast, going to work, going to the gym, going to band practice, getting on my motorcycle, that kind of stuff. It's like talking about it seems so easy, but when the whole world is sitting on top of your chest, it can become the hardest thing in the world. And
Yeah.
so that perspective is what gives me the that's what inspired the I lay into me your choices until nothing remains. Everything I've built has been taken away, because of everything that you build in a relationship. It's not one person, it's two.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can only account for your half of building the house, of building, the front lawn, whatever analogy that you want to use. Yeah. And when all of that crumbles, you have to get up. And that's what I'm saying in that first verse.
Well, I'm glad that even though, these lyrics were created out of a hard time, I'm glad that you were able to use this as a coping mechanism, to let that out. Because even that's not easy. I like how one of the first things you said when we were talking about work ethic and how you work is that, it's not easy, the consistency, it's not easy, this and that. And it really, really isn't. I mean, just even people get, me included, can get very, very intimidated by writing a song. Okay, does it rhyme? Is it this? Is it that? Okay, I have these feelings that I want to let out, but I don't know how to say it. So just writing down lyrics is hard enough. And pushing through the workouts when you're tired, or waking up because you need to go for a run even though you don't want to, or writing lyrics when you don't want to. Yeah. I think you are great personally at being able to use pain and hard times in order to motivate you to keep yourself going. Because if you didn't, you would just be laying down in bed all day long. If you didn't push yourself, if you didn't have these ways of coping with it, who knows? You can spiral more and be in a worse space. And you've been able to take this and turn it into something very creative that you can share with the world. So that's dope, dude. And it's hearing that is definitely sad, but I'm glad that you were able to see the benefits of sticking around for a bit and putting out another great album.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we have some more lyrics to dive into here, so I'm gonna keep the track going. All right, the chorus there.
The chorus is super catchy.
You know what? My favorite part of the entire song is the chorus, and it's when you go, "Oh yeah." I just think of Macho Man. Oh yeah. Think of wrestling. Is that why you did a music video for a wrestling thing? You're a big wrestling fan. Are you a big wrestling fan?
I am actually.
I knew it. Cool.
Because it's funny because a lot of my friends, they hear that, and that's the first time I think I've done anything like that on a Chainwolf track. And so all my friends who are just super thrash nerds, super heavy metal dudes, they're like, "Yo, Chain, what the fuck is that right there?" And I'm just like, I was like, "What?" I was like, "That's rock and roll as all fuck. What do you mean?"
Yeah, it is. I agree with you. And I'm not even kidding. It's my favorite part of the song. It's oh yeah, let's get going. Let's kick some ass right now. I like it.
Because see what's funny about that too is that when I wrote that line specifically, it wasn't supposed to be just oh yeah, it was supposed to be a reminder of contextually when I was writing it. It was supposed to be Oh yeah, and those fucking lamentations as one whole thought. So
Okay.
it's so when I was writing this,
Like a reminder almost, not like a oh yeah,
like a
let's fucking
list.
go, but it was like a oh yeah, I remember this is yeah.
Yeah, so it was more like a list, and I was like, and that's why
Mm,
the hardened feelings, dry tears. Oh yes, and those lamentations. It was more meditative like that.
gotcha.
And then you get the rock and roll going, and I'm just like, oh yeah. I'm just like, I'm like, all right, that's cool, whatever. Fucking
No, I dig it. I dig it a lot. So yeah, so the lyric "hardened feelings,
yeah,
dry tears, lamentations." You're pretty much just saying you're kind of done about with
yeah.
the feelings and everything. It's just like that.
It's
Just
like,
yeah.
let's just go.
Let it be. It is what it is. You know, this is where I'm at with my feelings. I've cried so much that I'm kind of cried out, and everything is dry now,
Yeah,
and I've got nothing left. So let's just go.
yeah. It's one of those like this. Like I said, when I wrote it originally, it was like a list, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like yeah, I my feelings have become like the whole front of the album is me being sad, right? So the second album is me being just completely pissed off, and that's again this is why this track is the first track of the rage side of the album, and that's also why the chorus is you you know dry tears, feelings gone, hardened away, and oh yeah, those lamentations, everything that you regret, everything that you've been sad about, fuck it, let's go.
So this isn't relating to the song specifically, but a question that just came in mind. So you said the last album was kind of more on the sad. You said the sad you,
The front half of the album, yes.
and then the second one is more angry.
Yeah, so the first five tracks are very much heartbroken, heartbroken. You know, we did a little, we did a little heavy metal one just to kind of like not be completely morose on side one, and then side two is okay. Side one is I'm sad, flip the record. Now I'm pissed.
So when you write your music, then, and the way that you put it out, and the way you structure it as you're talking, do you feel as an artist that the music and the way that you release it comes naturally, or do you kind of plan it in a way where it's like, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now, so I'm gonna write a bunch of songs and release it and kind of have the same tone for all the same songs, kind of like these are all going to be sad, these are going to be angry. Like, do you ever write when you're feeling in a certain mood and then the album just goes about how you are feeling based on that moment? Or is it kind of just when you record, it's just kind of a combination of a lot of different times in your life?
It's a combination because with this album, see, this album is unique in the sense that I had one major tragedy followed by a second major tragedy, and that was my fiance had left me. And then when I came home and was starting to process all of these things, my dog was she had been very ill, and we had taken care of her. And I think I had only been home like a week or two uh, after the initial breakup, where I was already out of my mind, where we had to put her down. Otherwise, she would succumb to her illnesses, and I had to be the person that kind of gave the vet the ultimate like thumbs down to put her to sleep.
That's tough,
So,
man.
so dealing with those back to back put album two in the very unique position of I'm gonna cry my heart out, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, and here's what it's gonna sound like. But generally speaking, even right now, when I don't have anything in mind, I'm still writing. I journal a lot in my personal life. I journal a bunch, and a lot of my lyrics
Another
are
great
based
way to
on.
get out emotion too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. So a lot of what will inspire the beginnings of new lyrics will be, when I thumb through my journal, and I'll kind of just like I kind of pick what sticks out, and if it makes me feel something after time has passed, I'm like, okay, like I should probably follow this thread and see what's up. How can I make this into poetry? How can I make that poetry into song lyrics? And
Gotcha.
that's generally how I write something. Or I'll just kind of like really want to pick whatever flavor of the week that I'm into and write something about that. Like for example, right now I'm going through a very heavy cyberpunk kick. So everything I
Cool.
want to write about is like cyberpunk or like Blade Runner or fucking cyberpunk, Blade Runner, Johnny Num, bunch of Keanu Reeves flicks, Ryan Gosling flicks, just the whole rigmarole of stuff like
Like
that.
Barbie, like Barbie
Yeah,
from Ryan Gosling.
yeah,
Yeah.
the ultimate cyberpunk flick, Barbie.
Would you ever see Chainwolf writing a happy album?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. Happiness doesn't inspire me to write music.
How come?
I I don't associate happiness with music, generally speaking.
Hmm. With music in general, or just your music, or both,
Oh,
or all of it?
you know what? I would have to say with my music specifically because I do listen to happy music. I'm not wired to have like a happy music output. Just like I'm not wired to kind of sit around and
Are you
cry.
are you not wired to do that, or do you think you just don't want to, or you're scared to?
Yeah, I think it might be all of the above. Well, because you know what? I do have one song that is generally happy, and that's the song Canine Savior, and that one is about my puppy. And that one, a real quick on that one, I just wanted to write a cool thrash metal song about my dog.
Mhm.
And, that one's a single too, and that one's like a live show staple. But,
See,
but
one of your happiest songs is one that you make sure you play at every show you're at.
yeah. But I think
Hmm.
if you look at the catalog, overall, I think that's the only happy song that we have.
I don't know. Maybe there's something there that one of the your staples is a song that's it's kind of a feel good. What is the crowd's reception to that when you play it?
Oh, that's circle pits and push pits all
Huh?
day. Yeah, every time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe there is a little something in you that when you're happy, maybe there's something special there.
yeah, maybe, but I don't think it's on brand for the band anyway. So, oh
You
well.
should yeah. Oh well. Oh well.
Oh well. You got the oh yeah, no, you got the oh well.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's keep rocking out here then.
Sure.
Lyrics
Not to
there.
not to blow my own fucking horn, but I fucking cooked with this one, dude.
It is really good. Out of all the ones you gave me, this is the one that stood out, dude.
Yeah, like I've never sat down and gone line by line with my tracks. I'm like, this
Yeah.
sounds fucking good. I was like, all right.
Animal grows within me, unhinged, unchained, feasting on fruits, my shattered remains. Look at you. What a poet you are.
Well, like I
What
said, from journals to poetry to
yeah.
sad boy lyrics.
What does this verse mean to you?
So this one is a lot on the nose, where I personify my feelings, the darkness, my unhinged. Because there's no way you can go through something like that and not be unhinged or have the screws come loose. And I describe that part of myself with that verse. These feelings are building, they're changing who I am, how I'm functioning as a person. I'm getting snappy with people, I'm getting short with people. Everybody's catching a fucking attitude with me.
Mm.
Everybody's one sideways look or smart comment away from like catching these hands. And it's one of those things where you hear people talk about you when they don't know that you're there, and they're just like, "Yo, this dude Chain is fucking, he's unhinged. This dude is like coming apart. This dude is XYZ of how you expect to describe somebody going through the beginning phases of a mental break." And it's just like acknowledging that part of it. It's like it's acknowledgement of like, yeah, these feelings are eating away at my personality. They're eating, and what's nourishing is like this animalistic, this unhinged, this super aggro behavior on my part, where it's just like that dude Chain used to be a decent dude, but ever since summer, and he just came back a huge asshole, and he's short tempered and he's pissed off all the time. So just like stay away from him. And that's kind of me acknowledging to myself, well, one, that it is happening, and two, that it's happening to a degree that other people are seeing and commenting on it. And now it's my turn to comment on it.
Mm. How does it make you feel when you hear those things about how people think about you? And do you agree? Since you're kind of acknowledging it, do you agree with it? And do you want to get out of it, or is it something that pisses you off when you hear it? When you hear those kind of things said about you?
Well, back then it didn't matter. Back then it was just I wasn't letting people in anyway. So all people were seeing was this behavior, but not knowing where it was stemming from. And it's fine. You, I get it. I wasn't letting people in. So how, if I'm not gonna share how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, etc., what I'm going through, how am I supposed to elicit any empathy or or anybody just trying to genuinely be a friend at that point in time when I'm keeping the doors shut and all they're hearing is the banging on the walls and the yelling, etc. Right? So I don't blame them. I understand. I call myself an asshole too. But thinking about it now, it's like I'm kind of on the same wavelength of like, yeah, yes, I understand that's true. I understand that there wasn't any context, but also I was going through a lot. I was going through arguably one of the worst times of my life when this music was being created. So, what am I supposed to do about that? A part of me, I remember then and a little bit afterwards thinking, if you think how I'm acting is, whatever adjective that you're using to describe it, then I remember thinking specifically like, oh well, why don't you fucking go through what I'm going through, and we'll talk about how you change and how you behave and how you fucking act.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, so I definitely went on the
I never
defensive.
thought about it that way before.
Yeah, you know, I think that's where my kind of empathy came around. Like after getting like if I get defensive, obviously that means that I'm feeling a certain type of way about it. And if I have to justify my shit with like, oh well, why don't you fucking sit where I'm sitting and play the cards that I've been dealt, then that means that there is an issue. And then now that a year and a half has passed, it's like, okay, I do see where they're coming from. I do understand what they're seeing, what they're saying. I'm still not stoked about it, but also if I'm behaving in a way that gives them that window to talk about me like that, then I shouldn't be stoked on the way I was acting either. So, kind of a full circle thing.
Do you have two vocals going at that time when you scream "I've loved" and "I've lost"?
I think so. Yeah,
That sounds cool. I like
yeah.
it.
That was
I
definitely a producer's choice.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I think with like certain words like that, and at certain moments, if you just like double it and it just makes it sound more aggressive and more full, and it's like there's more people shouting it, puts a greater emphasis there. But I like how it's on "I've loved" and "I've lost"
Yeah.
because those are two very heavy feelings and feelings that spark a lot of emotion, a lot of internal things. You know, loving something and then losing it. Um, you know, I one of the reasons why these lyrics stuck out to me personally is because of my own personal story. I'm divorced. We were together for 14 years, and when she split, dude, I was in the same mindset. I felt my world was crumbling. Um, I felt like everything had been taken away. Everything I've built has been taken away. Like these lyrics called to me in my, because like it sparked what I was going through.
Yeah.
Um, and you talk about losing, your dog, and as you know, recently, like a couple days after getting back, literally like 3 or 4 days after getting back from Vegas, my cat passed away, and he was my favorite thing on this earth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still can't talk about him because I'll get choked up. But I've loved, I've had that person who I thought was my everything in my life, and I had that taken away from me. I've lost, and I've loved, I've had that pet, I've had that love, and that relationship of us and an animal is just something that is just uncomparable. The kind of unconditional love that a pet can give to us, especially
Absolutely.
when we're going through a hard time. Like, I literally say he took better care of me than I did for him, and it's 100% true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's to have loved these things and to have lost these things. Um, it's very hard. It's very, very hard. But I think the way that we use that pain and flip it into going boxing or to writing music or being creative, I think that really helps us get through these moments, whether we realize it or not. And then we can look back on it a year later, 6 months later, however long it is, and just be like, oh man, like this album, like for you, this album helped me get through this, or writing these lyrics helped get me through this. And so it's kind of it's tough, man, to have loved and to have lost. It's tough.
Yeah. I know. I think of movies and poems and cliches of like, oh, better to have loved than lost than never to have loved at all. And I'm just like, I
I
don't know,
don't know if
man.
that's true.
I was like, I
Yeah.
don't-
Whoever said that obviously hadn't gone through some terrible life altering breakup.
and I'm just like,
Or
I was like, you know what? On paper, that's a tremendous quote.
yeah.
Uh,
But in
in
reality,
in
like
execution,
exactly.
I've never wanted to get hit by a fucking truck or a subway
But
train more in my life.
however, though, for me, I've been able to learn from that relationship and make a way healthier and better one. Do
Yeah.
you feel that even though those feelings were hard to go through at the time, do you feel that they've made you a better person? Having gone through that and kind of preparing you for what's next, it's kind of helped grow you in a way.
You know what? I can't tell you honestly if these made me a better person or not, because I'm definitely more self-aware. I'm definitely more aware of like, oh, you can't have too many feelings, otherwise people are going to like notice and comment and observe. But then you can't hide your feelings completely, because not only are you just hurting yourself when you do it, but also it ends up leaking out in different ways where you get worse. And I mean this in a general sense because I've seen my friends do it too, where you get more snappy, or people say that you're gonna crumble under pressure, or you're gonna self implode, just general behavior like that. And I have done some of those things myself. I've seen my friends do some of those things, or they become bullies or whatever because they're trying to hide what's actually going on. So to circle back to have these experiences made me a better person, I'm honestly not sure. I guess the jury's still out on that one, but
Well,
I've
maybe not a
definitely,
better person, but more of a aware person of what you want and what you need and what is best suit for you in your life.
Oh, to that line of questioning, I can absolutely say yes. I'm very
Okay.
much more, hey, this is what I need emotionally, this is what I need mentally, this is
Yeah.
what I need spiritually, this is what I need, physically. Like,
I
I'm
like
a
how you
lot
said this is
more,
what I need spiritually. I like that.
yeah, man. Gotta feed the spirit, gotta feed the heart, gotta feed the mind
Yeah.
and the body, dude. So it's definitely, I'm definitely more aware of my baseline needs. Like I'm more vocal now, where it's like, yo, I don't need to fucking shoulder the crown. I need one of my homies to just invite me over, let's listen to some records. Or, hey, friend A, B, or C, let's go get some pizza. I'm in a fucking mood. Like, don't worry about it. I'm buying. Just please don't let me be alone.
Mm.
And they'll go. Or just like, hey man, do you want to come over? Like, I'm just gonna work on the bike or just play some guitar. Do you want to just hang out? And, vice versa. So I'm a lot more straightforward and direct with what I need on those four principal levels.
That's good. And it sounds like you have a good support team. If people are willing to just drop kind of what they're doing and hang out and grab a bite if you need it, that's it's amazing.
That's the true definition of friendship, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have one more verse to go through here. Let's keep rocking out.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait. Before we get into these lyrics, I just have to circle back on that guitar solo really quick.
Sure.
That was beautiful, man. Is that so? That's you playing, right? That's you recording that?
No, 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 no. On this
Oh,
one,
that's not you.
no. On this album specifically, this album is in the multiple ways that this album is unique. This is the first one where I didn't write a lot of the music. I oversaw the writing process without directly
Oh, okay.
performing.
Uh-huh.
So it's actually so on the back of the physical album, you'll see two dudes, me being one of them. The other is my buddy Axe, and Axe is the guy who one wrote the majority of this music, and he would shoot me demos and be like, "Hey man, what's up with this?" And I'll give him some feedback. You know, hey man, we need a mosh part. Hey man, this verse riff it's on the ballpark, but it's not a bullseye. And we'll kind of go back and forth, and we'll send each other YouTube links, Spotify links, and just kind of reference. So we reference so much material on this, and he was the guy that was picking up the phone when I was like ready to jump off a bridge, and oh man, God bless his heart. This is the dude who I remember I called him full meltdown one time, and I took a meltdown on my lunch break, and I was just crying so fucking hard in the desert, and he just listened to me cry for legit like 5 minutes straight, and just said a prayer for me, and just asked me if I'm okay, and I said, yeah, I think so, and then we just hung up the phone. So, so this dude is one of the realest dudes, and
Shout out to Axe.
yeah, big shout out to Axe because I definitely would have jumped off a bridge or thrown myself in front of a bus or a train or something just to get through it. And I'm just so grateful to this dude. But he's the reason why these riffs are all super badass. He's the one doing all the guitar solos himself. And he also, so he did the guitars, he did the bass, and then he and I had like a bass line of what we wanted the drums to be. And then our producer, that's when our producer Andrew came in, punched up the drums, really helped Axe with punching up some of the riffs from like where we had it to like updating the arrangements.
Dude, the
And
drums
then
are fucking amazing too.
the drums are fucking amazing. So big shout out to Andrew J. Solis. And between the two of them, they gave me just the best foundation to just do the wailing vocals that they do. So
He,
that's him. That's him shredding,
hell
and
yeah,
he
it's sick.
killed it.
Yeah, yeah, you
He
did. Yeah, you did.
crushed it.
It's interesting, and so I've done 3 interviews in the last couple days. You're the third one, but just these last 3, I have found a very common theme. And the first one was with Lift the Curse. I was interviewing the lead guitarist John, and his counterpart wasn't able to attend the interview, but he kept referring to him as my best friend, my best friend
Yeah.
this, my best friend that. And then I had an interview earlier today with the band Phoenix, and they kept referring
Hmm.
to each other as family. They kept saying, my ride or die, and all 3 of you just have this really great dynamic with your bandmates, and a lot of you kind of share a similar story of powering through something really hard and really heavy, but relying on each other as a band to get through. And these last 3 interviews have been extremely deep, and I love hearing the story of how bandmates are like, they're not just bandmates, they're fucking family. They're someone that you can turn to. Hey, I can't be taking care of X, X, and X right now. Can you take care of this? And they're like, I got you. You need me right now? Like, let's go have a beer and pizza or something. Like,
Yeah.
it really shows the power of friendship and power of music, and how music is kind of like the core thing that has brought these bands together and these relationships together. So I know you've kind of broke down a little bit of like what your relationship means to you, but now after saying that, how can you do this band without Axe?
You see, that put me in such a tough spot because when Axe left because he needed to go do Axe stuff, he had this band. He has his own one man project that he had on the back burner for several years. And I think, if I understand the history correctly, I think doing the writing and seeing the soul searching for Chainwolf and like what it takes just really ignited the fire back in him to do his own project. And it wasn't due to a lack of fulfillment. If I recall his words correctly, it was one of those, he has a weight that he needs to get off of his own chest, and he needs to do that through his own one-man band. And seeing as how I started Chainwolf as a one-man band 5 years ago, I completely understood. I said, no worries, no problem. I love you. Fucking hit me up whenever you decide you want to come back to Chainwolf, and we'll see what happens. And he's jamming. I see him on social media, writing riffs and putting out some really killer stuff. And not only that, but he'll send me side stuff and be like, "Hey, bro, why don't we do a side project?" I'm like, "Bro, just make it Chainwolf or make it your project, and I'll sing on it."
Yeah.
Because he's my biggest fan by a large portion. Because I met him as a fan of Chainwolf originally, and then we became friends. And then when I was looking for a guitar player, I was like, "Hey, bro, like you play guitar, why don't you come try out for Chainwolf?" And then we just bonded and bonded and bonded. We went on the road together. We played a couple out of town shows together with Chainwolf.
Cool.
And, we did a bunch of really notable stuff, and we wrote some killer music together. So when he left to go do his own thing, that put me in the tough spot of like, what the fuck am I gonna do without this guy? what am I gonna do without my boy? You know, not that I had to replace him, but I did have to replace the hole that he left in the songwriting team because we just you listen to the album, he and I just click. We work together, we work well, and we know how to write together, which is very important in being in a band. And I confided in this in my current guitar players. I was like, yeah, man, me and Axe, we had this killer mashup of talent, style, and vision. It's going. He left such a big obelisk of this is what the fuck Chainwolf can be. And now it's one of those things where I'm starting to gear up to write more music, and for better or worse, to Axe's credit, for better or worse, now I'm like, okay, well now everything has to be as good or better than album two. And Axe did such a 10 out of 10 job that I don't know how I'm gonna do that without him. And obviously I trust the guys that are in Chainwolf now. The guys that are in Chainwolf now are, the closest thing that we have to like a classic or permanent lineup. And it's like, okay, well, if I can oversee album two and manage talent like that, then if I have two more guys who are just as talented as Axe helping me write the riffs, write all the dynamics, and getting all of that, then it shouldn't be a problem. There definitely was a point in the Chainwolf career where I was legitimately worried. I was like, man, this dude just came in, fucked shit up, and fucking left. What a legend! And now I have to now the standard is just that much higher.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, all right, cool, man. Time to get to work.
Well, the cool thing is that you have a very distinct sound for this album, and for the next one, it might turn out as a positive where it doesn't sound exactly like this one. Where it's different ideas coming in now instead of two guys. Now it's three guys bouncing ideas off each other, however many people are helping out with it. So I think you know what you like and what you've done and what you can do, and now it's like, okay, now put all these things into effect and create something a little bit new and different, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
definitely have the whole world of opportunities and options of genres to explore and kind of play around with while keeping like the Chain Wolf sound.
Yeah.
But also, I like to think that we're unique enough where we don't have a distinct sound. It's not that we're in the same ballpark or anything, but to say that there's a Slayer sound, to say that there's a Lamb of God sound, a Metallica sound, a Megadeth sound. Like you put on one of those albums and you have a general idea of what you're going to listen to. You know, to, I don't think that Chain will, although we have a unique and distinct sound, I don't think we have something as universal as that.
Hmm.
So that does give us the leeway to kind of play around with things.
Yeah. All right, that was "Turn Resentment" by Chainwolf. Dude, those lyrics, the meaning, the message, the story, very, very brutal. Um, how did you feel when you released this? Now that you had went through all the emotions, you went through the actual heartbreak of what everything meant in that song. You went to writing it down, to recording it, and now putting it out to the world. How does it feel putting it out? Is there somewhat of a weight lifted off you after releasing this new album with these new tracks, or how does it feel putting it out?
Oh, absolutely. Because you figure this album is a reflection of events that happened 2 years ago. So it took, you figure it took about a year to go through all of that, write about it, cry about it, feel about it. And then you start rehearsing these songs. You know, you get a couple of lineups to go through them. And, you know, we play a couple of these songs live in our set list. We're doing a lot of album two in the live Chainwolf set list. So, you know, you give people a taste of what's coming up, and like Term Resentment is one of the ones that gets everybody head banging and circle pitting and stuff. And it's not only is it just like great to see people going off of these songs that you wrote, going off your energy, but it's also kind of validating in a way of like, yeah, I went through this and now I'm watching people do something. Like I'm watching how they react to what's basically poetry, heartbroken poetry. And you see people mosh and break their heads and snap their necks and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, yeah, I went through all of this so you guys can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's validating. But to directly answer your question, it's I feel like I've been performing with like one hand behind my back because I can't show everybody the full album. I didn't want to leak it. I didn't want to spill it to nobody. I barely just started sending it out for reviews. So to have it out and to get so far, you know, 7.5 reviews to 9 reviews, it's just so, it's like I went through hell, but I'm getting gold stars for it. And it's such a like, it's a mixed bag of emotions because again, it's a weight off my chest, but it's also validating at the same time because it's
Yeah.
like I went through the suffering and I'm getting a little bit of success for it, but it's also like I don't know if I'd have this amount of success if I didn't suffer.
Hmm.
So it's a real mixed message.
So, after hearing the kind of place that you were in while writing it, um, now that the album's out and people can listen to it and dissect it and read the lyrics, um, what mindset are you in now?
And there's definitely a better sense of peace
Good,
after everything,
good.
and knowing what people, knowing that people get to see what I've been through in the last 2 years is very, you know, I get a couple of comments about the lyrics and stuff every once in a while, and people asking me if I'm okay, or people saying I'm sorry that you've been through that, or people saying like, not kind of their condolences, but definitely like acknowledging what it is that I've been feeling and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's it's like it's good to know that people care, and like the negative part of me is like too little, too late. Like you're 2 years late on this, buddy. But it's also like I didn't open up that door for anybody, and this is kind of like not only opening the door, but basically just tearing down a wall into my mind of what I've been going through. So it's like I have to really sit back from all of that and accept that people are concerned, and accept that people are entertained, and accept that people are like stunned by the way that I'm putting these words together and putting them into music. And then there's people who just hear me yelling and want to mosh, and I admire the fuck out of those people because who cares about feelings? Let's go circle pit.
The last few shows that I've went to, one of the common things that is said by the artists is leave everything outside of the store. You come into this show and you let all your sorrows and your fears and your depression, leave it outside. You come in this show and you have one of the best nights of your life. You leave all that shit behind you. You come in and you mosh and you crowd
Yeah.
surf, or you dance, or you laugh, or you cry, you sing along, whatever it is that you need to do to forget about the real world. Do that in here. And that's
100%.
and that is what kind of reminded me of what you just said reminded me of that. It was like, okay, yeah, people might not really be thinking about the message and the lyrics. But they go to a Chainwolf show. They want to tear up that pit because they can
That,
feel the emotion and they can feel, even if they don't know the words, we feel the heartbreak. We're able to catch a couple of words here and there, and we're able to put in our own perspective and kind of get the main message and relate to it and be like, okay, I'm gonna go in. There's been so many bands and so many shows I've gone to where there was like one or two specific songs that mean so much to me, and I'm like, I have to make sure I'm in the pit during those songs so I can
yeah,
get out that energy during that specific song so I can let it out.
100%.
Yeah, and Turn Resentment is one of those songs for Chainwolf. People can go in and yeah, maybe they don't have the same shared experiences with you, but anybody can find something in their life that can maybe relate to it in some way and be like, when Chain plays Turn Resentment, I'm going to go in that pit and just forget about everything and let my anger out, but be with people who understand it and get it and are on the same page as me.
Yeah. And you know what? We do that for those people too. So I'm grateful for them.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, One question I was going to ask you that kind of stood out, and we can scratch this question if you want. You said you're on a phone call one time with Axe, and he did a prayer
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Is faith and religion something that's in your life?
Faith. Faith is heavily in my life. A lot of what I write about is about faith.
Mm,
A lot of what I write about is spiritual. A lot of what I write about is bigger than people.
yeah.
Yeah, one of my guitarists, he likes to joke around that. He's like, "Yeah, man. Oh, was this? I think we were doing. He was roasting me in the form of Chainwolf Mad Libs, and it was like, oh, what's this song? Is this song going to be about? Is this song going to be about? What did he say? Is it books, movies, religion, or being fast?" I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, I think that's a gross oversimplification of what I write about, but yeah, sure, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah. So to say that spirituality and faith has a big part of my life is absolutely correct.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's.
and
Do you feel that helps you get through these hard times? Like, do you ever kind of not rely on it, but kind of sit with it and that be a part of your songwriting as far as just helping you get through the day or the week or the hour? Do you rely a lot on your faith, kind of just throughout, like not even just music, but just in everyday life?
in my day to day, yeah, I do. It takes a lot. I give a lot. It takes a lot, but
Hmm.
there's a lot of it helped me stay on my very loose sense of the straight and narrow these days. So it's it's important to me.
Nice. Um, so seeing how you're this crazy like workhorse or work wolf, as we'll call it. Um, Obviously, a lot of the stuff that you do plays into your work ethic, like the boxing and the music and your faith and your everyday job and kind of just how you view work and just that work ethic. What advice would you give to somebody who doesn't have the chain mentality of doing things when you don't want to or when it's hard to, or letting out your music through arts? Somebody who's kind of brand new to the world of listening to this kind of music or songwriting, what advice would you give them to as like a first step? what
Journal.
what do you do?
First things first. Write about it in your diary, in your journal. Get it. get it off of your chest or out of your brain so that you can focus on what needs to get done and just get it done half a day at a time. If you need to, if you need to lay in bed and write in your journal for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you only get 2 sentences, cool. Make them 2 important sentences and get your day started, because the kind of day that you have is by a large margin in your own hands. So if you're gonna let your noodle, gonna let your brain or your heart weigh you down, then you're already in your own way. So the best thing you can do is start a journal and write something, get that at least temporarily off of your number one priority list, and then get the day started. And maybe if you're lucky or if you're blessed, you'll get something that you'll find somebody that'll like either help burden or just distract you from it completely. That'll give you a couple hours to get by, and then when you feel the gloom and doom will come back, write about it a little bit more. Go hit the gym, go eat, take a nap, play Jenga, fucking whatever.
Play Mario Kart.
Yeah, do something that stimulates this,
Yeah.
and then you'll see that you have a lot going on. But if you're just down in the dumps all the time, bummer to be around, you just lock yourself up in your room, like you're not helping. Not only are you not helping yourself, but you're also becoming like a worry for people that cherish you. And then especially if you keep actual walls up or emotional walls up, like you made it harder, you actively make it harder for the people that care about you to be able to care about you and do something about it. So rule number one, grab a little piece of paper and a pen, not notes in your phone app, not a digital diary. I'm talking ballpoint pen to actual paper, because there's something therapeutic in actually writing. And then bonus points, if you can't face what you just wrote, you can burn it, and that's even more helpful.
Good advice coming from someone who's been through it. It's very good advice. What is your hope with this band? Where do you hope your band is? I don't know. By the next album.
As long as people are moshing while we're playing our tunes, then I've achieved my goal. If people are wearing Chainwolf shirts, stickers, hats, whatever, memorabilia, and they're still happy to rock it, then I've achieved success. If I'm writing songs that help, get the demons off my chest and help somebody understand, or maybe get them off theirs, then I'm already successful. I have no illusions of fame or big money or being like a stadium or concert band or anything like that. But if I can stay at varying levels of people come out to Chainwolf and mosh, then I've already achieved my goal. If people still listen to my music, goal achieved.
Hell yeah.
Super simple.
So what is next? I know, the album just came out. You got a new single coming out. Well, you're going to be releasing Turn Resentment as a new single, new music video. Are you kind of just basking in the aftermath of the release right now and letting that ride and enjoying the moment? Or is your head already, 2 or 3 steps, ahead and already thinking about the next one, or, writing new music already? Like what is next?
Oh, you already know I'm already two or three steps ahead.
I knew it. You're probably already listening to demos of the next album already, knowing you.
So realistically, very soon we're going to begin filming for the music video for today's song, Turn Resentment.
Hell yeah.
And no spoilers, but if everything plays out the way that I'm kind of planning things, then it's going to be a very, very fun music video to shoot. Besides that, um, I like to bite more than I can chew, so
I know the
I
feeling.
I've agreed to do a couple of splits for the beginning of 2026. So I will be writing some riffs and get the ball rolling on that, and that should be another 6 to 8 songs with these new guys, and
Cool.
it'll be a new chapter sonically for Chainwolf because this is, like I've said before, the stable, permanent, classic Chainwolf lineup. So music that you hear from Chainwolf 2026 going forward will no longer be just a reflection of myself or just me and Axe, but it'll be this new and improved lineup. So I take
Hell
you
yeah.
out for that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How about any shows? What do you got coming out? Are you coming out to Brooklyn? Are you playing in Brooklyn anytime soon?
I need Brooklyn motherfuckers to be spreading the gospel of Chainwolf around so that we show up and play to more than you and your wife.
Hey, no promises I'll be there. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'll be front row with my Chain Wolf t-shirt and hat and tattoo and everything.
Wow.
Well, yeah. Any plans of traveling outside of California to do any shows, or you have any lined up?
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've begun to reach out as part of the promotional process for album two, and hopefully by the end of the year I'll have some promotional tours for this album coming up.
Cool. Hell yeah. Cool. Where can people find you? What is the best way if people want to listen to more of your lyrics and more of your music? Where is the best place to turn people to?
Well, your favorite DSP is going to be the way to listen to Chainwolf. It should have all the lyrics. If you feel inclined to buy a record or buy a t-shirt, I would recommend chainwolf.bandcamp.com. That's personally fulfilled by myself and the band, so expect a handwritten note with every merch order. And then if you want the latest and greatest of what we're up to, what we're doing, etc., I would recommend following our Instagram. That is our only social media, and it's at ChainXWolfX.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. Anything else you want to plug or talk about while we got you here, or you ready to go watch some WWE Raw Monday Night is War?
Just real quick, just want to shout out to my boy Paul, the other half of Motor Funk Records, and our boy Andrew J. Solis, who, engineered and mastered and vocal coached me through all of album two. Our boy Will at Dead Air Audio for helping us out, and big ups to the homie Dystopian Destroy on Instagram for doing the layouts and the album artwork and stuff.
It all looks really badass.
No credit to me, just to him.
Cool. Well, one of the reasons that this podcast was even created was because when I was going through my hard time, there were songs and lyrics that really connected with me, and I always kept looking for things to try to be like, okay, I want to learn more about these lyrics, and I want to find out more about this artist, because if I'm able to connect with them on this level of just this one song, I want to find out more about them. I want to dig deeper, and it was really difficult for me to find those things, and so that's kind of what started this podcast. And you talk about people, asking you if how you're doing, and kind of based off of lyrics and stuff, but I do feel that with the breakdown of these lyrics, I think people are going to be able to see a brand new side of Chain and Chainwolf that they didn't see before, or they didn't know was there before, or just learn a little bit more about you as a person and about the songs. And I highly suggest everybody listening to this and listening to Chainwolf dig deeper into the other lyrics too, dig deeper in the other songs, because it's all really heavy, and it's very, very obvious that this was written through um, a time where it needed to happen. The songs
Yeah.
needed to be written, the lyrics needed to be screamed. Um, and I think anybody who's going through anything mental can find, at least one way to resonate with one of these songs. They are very heavy, they are very poetic. Um, and check out Chainwolf. Dig deeper into their catalog, and keep an eye out for stuff coming up. And check them out if they're playing near you. And buy a T-shirt.
Buy a t-shirt, buy a hat,
Hell
keep
yeah,
us on the road.
yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, man, thank you for sharing your story. I know it's not an easy thing to do, but thank you for doing it. And I'm sure it's going to have a great outcome, and people are going to resonate with it. And I really hope that talking about it has helped in some kind of way, and releasing these things. And yeah, man, keep rocking out and staying true to yourself and the music. That's what the
Oh,
fans, and that's what we all just need for ourselves, dude.
yeah. Thank you for the opportunity and the invitation.
Yeah, yeah, we need to catch up again once we both watch Stands. So
Yeah, definitely.